When we press middle mouse button and then we drag the mouse left or right, it will pan the viewport. It is also very handy thing or tool. So we can just press the middle mouse button, scroll middle mouse button, press it and then move it, then that will pan the viewport. And when we right click, then it will look left or look around. This is called look around, and we can look around and we can just rotate the viewport any way we want. And now when we are panning it, it's panning at a certain speed, and if you want to increase or decrease the speed of the pan, so that we can, when we are working on a small project, then it's like default pan speed is okay. But if you want to work on a very huge landscape and you want to travel very fast, or when we are working inside a small cabin, or like inside a very small, like we are doing something inside a fridge, the space is very small, so we have to pan, the traveling speed of the pan will be, it should be very slow. To increase or decrease the speed of the pan, it's, there is a button here, and this is, when we click on this, by default it's 4. So when we make it 1, you see it's moving it very slowly now. Even if I'm moving the mouse very fast, it's moving very slowly. And when I make it to 8, and when I press it, it's moving very fast. So it's, when we are working on a very huge scene like landscape or forest or very big area, then we have to increase it to 8, 7, anything you want, the speed you want. And whenever you want to slow it down, you have to make it 1, and it will be very slow. But for me 4 is always absolutely fine. So 99% of the time 4 is absolutely okay. But if you need to move this pan, if you want to decrease or increase this speed of panning, then you have to take the advantage of this tool. So as I remember, I have covered all this tool in the viewport. So now you can see there are different Unreal Engine elements present in this viewport, right? Like this one, this is called experimental hide fog, this is player start, this is sun and sky plugin, and this is post process volume, this is camera. All these in engine options are available, or we are visible in the scene, and we want them to be hidden, so that we only have the exact objects or exact things which will be rendered in the final version, or that are the final thing. So we have to press G. So this is called game mode on, and whenever we press G, then every object that has Unreal Engine's internal, they will be hidden, and we will be only seeing what is going to be in the final output. So when we press G, we see all the when we press, so when we press G again, then we start seeing all the engine's default objects in this viewport, and we press G. So this is game mode on and then off. So whenever we press G, it will be the final version. This is what going to be rendered, and we press G again, they will be appearing. Suppose we want to take a snapshot of this like a viewport, or we want to render an image. So we will not want to render the image with all these things. If you want, you can absolutely, but if you want to just clean render, so we press G and then we press F9. So the moment you will press F9, it will take a snapshot of that, and it will be keeping in the projects folder. And let me show, this is the project folder named tutorial, and inside this there is saved folder. Inside saved folder there is a screenshot folder, and inside a screenshot folder Windows no editor, and you can see that image present here. So whenever you want to take image of your viewport, you just have to press F9 and it will take the snapshot instantly. Okay, suppose we want to maximize the viewport to the full screen, so we'll have to press F11 and the viewport will be maximized in the full screen. But you will see the bottom title bar, like the task bar, and if you want your task bar to be disappear, or you don't want your taskbar in the full screen view, then you again, after pressing F11, you'll have to press shift F11, and that will hide the title bar. It will bring your full screen on the top, always on the top. And when we again press shift F11, then you will be able to see taskbar, and if you press F11, then it will be in the smaller screen by default screen. So F11 is for full screen and shift F11 is for hiding the taskbar inside the full screen. Again shift F1 to bring the taskbar, and again shift F11 to bring the taskbar, and then F and then F11 to bring it to the default. Now we are going to learn one more viewport technique, and in that technique what I want to explain is, so when you scroll the mouse up you zoom in, and when you scroll the mouse back or down you zoom out. So this is a good way to zoom in, zoom out. But if you want to uh, but this zoom is incremental, it's fixed length which it's zoom in and zoom out. But suppose you want to zoom on something very precisely, for that what you can do is you can just click left, you can click alt and then right mouse button, click it, and then drag your mouse up or down or forward or backward. So it will also zoom in the viewport, but the zoom will be very precise. It's not incremental anymore. You can zoom in, zoom out incrementally. You can zoom in, zoom out very smoothly. So let me show it again. Suppose you selected on this object and then press F, and then you rotate your viewport, and now you want to zoom in, zoom out precisely, then press alt, right mouse button, and drag the mouse back or forward. So this is a very good way to zoom in and zoom out precisely. So after all the shortcuts and the ways to navigate in the viewport, I'm going to cover these options present here on the above, and I will only cover the objects or the settings which are important in sense of architecture visualization, and I have used them regularly. But the options which I have never used till now and I don't think they are relevant to architecture, I will skip them. But every option that I have used in past 8 years in doing architectural project in Unreal Engine, I will cover them. So let's start from the beginning. That is this one. So this one is real time, and the shortcut of this is Control R. You should be aware of this. So whenever something is moving in the viewport, in movement, like wind is moving trees or leaves of the trees, or grass moving the grass leaves, or some, like there is a smoke which is in motion, or there is a uh, fire which is in motion, anything that is in motion, it is because this real time option is on by default. But if you press Control if we press Control R, or we go ahead and click this button, then there will be an option named as real time off here, and everything in the scene will be static. Anything that is in motion, like wind, smoke, fire, trees leaves, grass leaves, everything that is moving in the viewport in real time, they will just be static, and the real time feature will be switched off for the moment until this one is on. And we can switch on the real time by just clicking on this button, or again we go in here and clicking on this, or by using Control R. So let's go to the next. So this one is show FPS, and the shortcut is Control Shift plus H. I will recommend that you should always focus on any shortcut that is available in the editor and write it down and try to practice it, because it will speed the work. Like it will because it will help you increase the productivity, and it will also speed the way you work in an engine. And I have remember all these shortcuts because this shortcuts helps me a lot in doing the work very fast in Unreal Engine, and I will also recommend you guys so that you can remember these shortcuts that will help you out and practice it. So if you want to show the FPS, we can press Control Shift H, and now you can see here we are getting how much FPS we are getting, and also in millisecond. We are getting the information in FPS and in milliseconds. And if you go again here, you see this is now on because I have pressed the shortcut Control Shift H. And again, if I click on this button, then this FPS information will be gone. So to switch it on, we have to click on this, and then we can switch it off. Now if you want further information about the project in the viewport, we can go here and switch on all these things. But to be honest, I have never used all these settings in Unreal Engine except show FPS. So we will be focusing on just on show FPS. We'll ignore this, but yes, you can go ahead and click on these and you can see any information you want, and you should just see if you want some information that is very interesting to you, and then you can see this FPS. Now this is just to show the toolbar on the viewport. So if you go here and click on this show toolbar, then you will be able to see all this toolbar. And if you want to switch this toolbar off, then you can go ahead and click on this Control Shift T is the shortcut of this, and when you click on this, it's gone. And when again you go here and then click this, then you will see all this. I will recommend keep them on so that you can get lots of features directly on the viewport and you don't have to search here and there. So keep them always on. But if you want to hide them, there is an option, this show toolbar, and you will hide those options. Now next thing is field of view. So by default, this perspective viewport is having field of view of 90°, and if you want to increase it or decrease it, it depends on you. So it's very necessary to be aware that you can increase the field of view of perspective view however you want. If you want, you can just decrease the field of view, it will zoom in, and now the field of view will be whatever you have set. And if you want, you can just increase the field of view. So if you are in very tight space, then increase the field of view, and if you are very broad space, and then you can decrease the field of view. But most of the time 90° will be enough for you. But yes, it definitely comes handy in interior scene like bathroom and all those small areas, or storeroom where the space is very low. Then you have to use this field of view and increase it to 120, 110, 115, so that you can see the entire area of the small like a bathroom from one view only. So you have to be aware of that. This viewport full field of view can be increased or decreased, and it comes really handy sometimes in a tighter space. Far view plane, I have never used it, so let's skip this. And now let's come to screen percentage. So this screen percentage determines the quality of the viewport. It is same like as resampling. So if you want to multiply the quality of the viewport, like if it's 100% and you want to make it twice as really as and you want to increase the quality in twice, then you have to make it 200, and now the quality will be increased in the viewport. This is very handy when you are rendering a cinematic video. So whenever you are going to render a cinematic video or use F9 to render an image, then you should increase the screen percentage, and it will increase the quality of your scene a lot. It's very, very important. And for some instance, you want to reduce the quality for working in the project, then you can just decrease it to the 50, and the lowest you can go is 50 here. So, and the default is 100. So it's very useful in rendering cinematic video to enhance the quality, that is resample your scene and make everything look more crisp, clear, and then awesome. and you can increase it or decrease it, and you can use it while you are rendering a cinematic video. So whenever you are rendering a cinematic